Welcome to our show. Whiteboard Wednesday is on the way, of course. This is Good Morning Football presented to you by Ram Trucks on this lemon chiffon cake day. Any of you three doing any baking, Nate? Anybody baking out there? I know you're whipping up stuff in the kitchen.
A little bit.
Why are we laughing?
Yeah. Little baking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's happening or what joke is being made here. I don't know what's going on. We've got Kyle Brandt and Peter Schrager. Nate, what's on the show?
We have a great show, so don't you go anywhere. Well, I guess you can't go anywhere because we're all quarantined up. Maybe you don't miss going to work, but I bet you miss that water cooler talk. Like, who's the best duo in the NFL right now? We're headed to the basement break room to break it down, a little something new given the circumstances. And we have a huge guest coming on the show today. There's a whole new attitude in Cleveland. A fresh start for this team, the new coaching staff, and fresh off the draft, we're going to talk with Browns General Manager Andrew Berry. He will be joining us live this morning. Yes, we are getting live guests. And the draft-a-thon is still going on. You can still make a difference. Every dollar counts, so please keep on donating for more information, resources, and details on how you can support nonprofits providing relief for those significantly impacted by COVID-19. You can go to NFL.com/relief. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, I'd like to see that money at $10 million. We are almost there, way more than halfway there. So please hit up NFL.com/relief for that. It's time for the lead block.
Lead block. Lead block.
Lead block.
Let's do it and talk about some free agents that are still left on the table. That's our delay, people. Just so you're clear out there watching Good Morning Football this morning, that is a sort of delay. The disunification lead block is just a little of the adversity we're facing here on Good Morning Football. Is Cam Newton facing some adversity, not signing with the team yet? Free agency has started and come and gone. 7 rounds of the NFL draft have come and gone. Cam remains unsigned. And according to a lot of people, he's willing to wait. And a lot of teams have their starting quarterbacks now. So I'm a little concerned about the strategy. Schrags, why hasn't Cam signed yet?
It's actually just terrible timing, I think, for Cam Newton. Look, the Panthers didn't make their decision to release Cam Newton until March 24th, which is significantly after the free agency period began. So already that the musical chairs of quarterbacks was not working in his favor. Then you throw in what's happened with the country. You think about this. Typically, Cam Newton could go and meet with any team, have their doctors check out his foot, check out his shoulder, do a full examination, and see if they gel with Cam Newton. Because of the current state of the country, he can't do that whole Cam Newton tour of different visits and seeing if this would work and if maybe their doctor thinks a different thing than this other doctor. And the teams that you think would have maybe been interested, a Chicago Bears, an Indianapolis Colts, even you think about recently these teams in the drafts, the Dolphins, maybe the Chargers, they all got quarterbacks. So to me, this is just unfortunate timing for Cam Newton. And you ask why he's not signed. I think it's health. I think it's different. It's quarterback situation. I also think it's salary. I don't think Cam Newton is looking to necessarily take a discount for a one-year prove-it deal like Jameis Winston. To Cam Newton, heck, I proved it. I went to the Super Bowl. I went 15-1. I'm the MVP. I'm Cam Newton. I'm Superman. It's going to be a really interesting decision to see where he ends up going. And furthermore, what team is going to welcome him and open up their doors to Cam Newton sight unseen.
You make great points, Peter. I think there's a lot of reasons having nothing to do with the world climate, though. Signing Cam is scary. It's a scary thing in the sense that he's been hurt for 4 years and maybe is not the same player. And let's be honest, guys, bringing in Cam Newton is bringing in a large, looming figure. This is not Denver grabbing Joe Flacco. Cam Newton, every single Instagram post is going to be all over every talk show, every outfit, every font. And if you're trying to develop a young quarterback who Cam is allegedly going to be behind, every time that quarterback throws an interception, there's going to be a shot of Cam on the sideline with the towel over his head ready to go in. So if you're looking at someone like Drew Lock or Gardner Minshew, it's not exactly constructive to his growth. And I cannot overestimate, if you look at all around the teams, the only team that I really see jump out that doesn't have a rock-solid plan or at least a new strategy is maybe Jacksonville. But I cannot overestimate the looming presence of Trevor Lawrence coming into the draft this year, guys. If Jacksonville doesn't work out with Gardner Minshew, okay, screw it. Maybe we'll get a quarterback that comes around every 6 or 7 years. Why would we bring in Cam Newton? I just don't see the need right now for any team to grab him, especially when, I don't want to call it baggage, because I think Cam's a good guy, but there's a lot of attention, and the football men, they don't love that stuff.
Kyle, you mentioned a quarterback allegedly sitting behind a young fella. Well, Ryan Tannehill was allegedly supposed to sit behind Marcus Mariota, and look how that worked out. So it's not set in stone that wherever Cam goes, he's just going to remain a backup. To answer the original question, it's time. Schrager, you mentioned it. He has time, and time heals all wounds, whether those are wounds we can't see or the actual physical wounds that he was dealing with last season, or shall I say over the last couple of seasons. I feel like he's going to give himself time to look at the game from a perspective that he'd never seen it before. He's going to give himself time to heal up, and with that, he'll be able to sit back and make a better decision. I feel like guys who need the money, who want the stage, like maybe Cam early on in his career, would jump at the opportunity to sign anywhere. But now Cam is already established. He's already proved himself to be one of the better players at one point in his career, and he doesn't need to go out there and play backup for the least amount of money offered. I think Cam is going to sit back, relax, and make the right decision.
Well, what would the right decision then be if it's time now? So I like how Kyle pointed out maybe the team perspective on bringing in that kind of a figure. But Nate, take me into the player perspective here. This is a 2015 season MVP. He's been to the Super Bowl, one of the best players that we've seen when he is at his best. Given the success that he's had in his career, how hard is it for him to accept a role as a backup? And is that going to hinder him at some point? Or, as you're saying, should he even be resigned to accepting that fact?
Yeah, I don't believe that Cam Newton is going to accept the role as a backup, and that's okay. You know, Cam Newton is an alpha male. He's not at the point in his career where he's going to sit back, collect a check, and relax. You know, nothing against quarterbacks that take that perspective. You know, Blake Bortles had a decent run in Jacksonville, and then he landed playing behind Jared Goff. And I remember talking to him during the preseason this past year, and right before the game, Jared Goff was warming up, and Blake Bortles was just chilling. He was comfortable in that moment, and I said, Blake, well, do you want to remain a backup? Or he said, no. Let me cut you off right there, Nate. I still want to start. I still believe I'm a starter, and I know that's how Cam is looking at his career. He still believes he's going to start somewhere. He's just going to have to prove it and beat out a number one QB.
Kyle, where should Cam go?
A lot of places come to mind as a second layer, like if he were to come in as a backup or relieve someone. I said yesterday Pittsburgh, and I've slept on it, and I like it even more for a bunch of reasons. Practically, go ahead and look up how many times Ben Roethlisberger started 16 games in his career. It's a few. It's not pretty. I also think he and Cam are kind of sort of becoming the same player, this large, looming, physical pocket player who spends too long and takes a lot of hits. And I also think if Ben were to come in, and if Cam were to come in and back up Ben, I can see Cam being good with that. All right, he is backing up a made guy, a Hall of Fame guy. I just can't picture going on the broadcast and Cam is on the sideline during a timeout talking with Mitch Trubisky and Matt Nagy. I don't know if that would fly. I think Cam could go to one of the premier franchises that's always relevant, back up a Hall of Famer, maybe for a game before he has to go in, and then have a future in Pittsburgh with that defense. If I was Cam's guy, I'd be like, Cam, Pittsburgh would be a huge win.
Yeah, look, the elephant in the room here to me is New England. And everyone's talking about, hey, is there a Patriots possibility? Is Stidham really the guy? But to me, it's not that AFC East team. It's another one. I'm going to propose a situation that he goes to the Buffalo Bills and serves as a tutor and as a mentor to Josh Allen, a similar big-bodied, big-armed quarterback who was not able to get over the hump in a big game last year. But there's familiarity between Cam Newton and the Buffalo Bills roster. Forget roster. Let's go down from the top. GM Brandon Beane was there when they drafted Cam Newton in Carolina. Sean McDermott was a defensive coordinator. And this isn't one or two guys he might know. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the Carolina Panthers of Western New York. To me, if it's a one-year place where Cam can kind of go to some surroundings, work with a quarterback that has a similar build, similar body, and be the backup if that similar build, similar body quarterback goes down, it's a real opportunity for Cam Newton to show what he's got on a one-year deal. I haven't heard any rumors of this. I haven't seen anyone link Cam to Buffalo because it doesn't make sense. They've got their quarterback of the future. But to me, you can never have enough quarterbacks. And so many good teams in the past have brought in a veteran backup and have had to rely on that veteran backup. Cam to Buffalo, it's probably not ideal for either side, but it certainly does make sense knowing the ties between the two.
I like those ideas, guys. One of my favorite movies is Fallen, starring Denzel Washington. And in that movie, they sing, "Time is on my side." I'm not going